And welcome to another episode of the Gold Country Media Sports Jam Spring Break Edition, I guess we can call it. I'm Jordan.
I'm Aaron.
And I'm Matt.
So I think, Aaron, you mentioned in our pre-show, this is a first. We have everyone coming to us from a different location. We're not having everyone recording in the office or in their respective offices. So a little sports jam history, I guess, for everyone. But our question of the day before we get started, Matt, I don't want to poke at you because you mentioned your Phillies, but how's everyone feeling about your baseball team start to the season?
Well, I'm not feeling good about it, I'll tell you that. But I can't say that I'm surprised. I mean, every year they kind of start off slow and then they catch fire. So I mean, it's not good. And I'll be happy. I mean, they get torn up by the Rangers, and then now they got 3 games against the Yankees. I don't know who they play next, but they'll get a win here before they get to 10 games, I hope.
Yeah, that 10 games when you can hit that panic button. Aaron, you and I are in the A's territory. 1-3 is better than I thought we'd be right now. So.
I'm feeling so right now. Yeah, I mean, like, there's some positives to take away. There's definitely some negatives. I'll say one thing, and this is gonna make some of the Giants fans watch the show, Matt. My prediction of them having 75 wins is looking pretty good after their first series. I know they had a home run derby yesterday against the White Sox, but yeah, I'm thinking that I think your 65 is looking all right, Jordan, right now for the A's after what we've seen, and I think the Giants 75 is looking good as well.
I think so too. And hey, Matt, on your Phillies, what's the old saying in baseball? Obviously, it's easier said than done, but they say you just have to have 2 good months and play 500 baseball the rest of the year.
So, well, yeah,
this could just be one of your 500 months.
Yeah, they're not a good start, but I think when all is said and done, they're going to be certainly playing for a playoff spot at least. So
yeah, I mean, you're 0-3 right now, but I'm like, okay, you got a 3-game series against like the Marlins or like the Pirates coming up. I'm sure you win those. So
I'll say this:
3-3, it cancels out.
If there's any solace in if the Phillies miss the playoffs, you can always be guaranteed that the Mets will find a way to choke in the playoffs. So.
But hey, on to the high school stuff. It's been a weird week, but the sun has come out, which is really nice. We got to play some outdoor sports, some indoor sports have been picking up. It's been, a big week, and kind of league play really started with a lot of these teams. It's been unconventional, a lot of double headers, a lot of, the home team is playing a home game on the road, weird stuff like that, but they're getting the games in. That's what matters. Aaron, let's start with you. Where were you at this last week, and what did you see?
Yeah, so before you get started, disclaimer, usually we record this on Mondays, we're recording this on Tuesdays, so we're probably, at least I'm going to have something for yesterday as well. So I'll get in the first half of my week last week. Monday, I was at two events, the first being Lincoln and Oakmont boys tennis. The Zebras only have 5 players on the team, but Oakmont also only brought 5 guys. 3 matches went 6-0, 6-0 in favor of Oakmont. Another went 6-2, 6-0 Oakmont. But the big match of the day was the ones, Aiden Lee of Lincoln and AJ Rodriguez of Oakmont. And Lee pulled it out 6-4, 2-6, and then 10-4 in the 10-point tiebreaker to win his first game of the season. Lee also recently won a singles tournament down in Sheldon against players from Oroville, Fresno, Sacramento, and others from all around the state. So keep your eye on him. I believe May 1st is the FVL singles tournament, so I'm going to keep my eyes on that and see how far he can go in that tournament. After that, I went to Wood Creek for lacrosse against Del Oro. The Timberwolves won 11-5. There were a lot of penalties for both sides, especially Del Oro. Camden Trones played great for Wood Creek with 5 goals and 2 assists, and the Timberwolves picked up their second win of the season. So that was on Monday. Tuesday was pretty rainy, so I didn't actually end up going to anything on Tuesday, but Wednesday I did end up going to 12 Bridges for the stunt game against Lincoln. Was very glad I did because I think I've been to only 3 stunt games ever, and this was by far and away the most people I've ever seen at a stunt game. There were hundreds of people there, completely filled up the 12 Bridges stands. I actually had to park in the overflow lot at the library. It was a really exciting game. So basically how stunt works for anybody who's never seen it, there's 4 routines for each quarter. The first quarter is partner stunts. The second quarter is pyramids and basket tosses. Third is jumps and tumbling. And the fourth is a team routine, which combines the routines from the last 3 quarters. Lincoln won 14-8. And really just the atmosphere there made me wish that both teams were in the same league for all sports. I know with the last proposal that came in, Lincoln's going to be in the PVL and 12 Bridges would be in the, I believe, FVL. But that's still not confirmed. Obviously, that has to be voted on, so we'll have to see what happens with that. Just a couple more pieces of info on the stunt. 12 Bridges, they're a first-year varsity program, 19 freshmen and only 4 juniors, and they're 4-2. So just really exciting things for that program and see, where they can go, especially considering that they put up a fight against Lincoln, which just a couple of years ago were a state champion. 12 Bridges also defeated Oakmont on the same night, and so did Lincoln. The Zebras are 6-1 on the season.
Okay, impressive stunt. It's one of the biggest growing sports. I think everyone's starting to get a team now. It's like lacrosse. Every year there's like 3 or 4 new teams and just keeps popping up. We have a local stunt team, Jessup, defending national champions. They just clinched the conference title this week too. So, hey, good stunt in this area, I guess. Matt, over to you. What'd you see this week? Where were you at?
Yeah, I was only at one thing until Friday. So Monday I was at gosh, it seems like forever ago too. I was at Folsom High for Delaware, the opening of the SFL baseball. And Folsom won that game 6-0. Sean Carey, their ace, had 13 strikeouts, 1 hit batter, 2 hits allowed, 1 walk. So he was stellar. And Tyler Yan and Peyton Dupree had RBIs in the 3rd inning to put the Bulldogs up 2-0, and Folsom scored 4 more in the 6th. So Logan Hutton had a 2-run single, and Hutton later scored on Colin Callahan's base hit, and they got a couple other runs in there. But, I was talking to Delo's coach, and he said, I feel like have we talked about this? I feel like I've said this already. But he's like, everyone in SFL has their guy. Everyone has their main guy. And he just loves the fact that they get to play 3 times, because after you get that one, you get your ace out of the way, then it's pretty even for everybody. So that's what he likes about the league. And this game went Folsom's way because Folsom has a better ace pitcher. But games 2 and 3 were, we'll see her in a bit. But anyway, that's where I was Monday. So I don't have anything else till Friday. So.
All right. Hey, I'm the same boat as you. I only had one game in the beginning of the week, and it was Placer Nevada Union volleyball. The Miners came into this one first place in the FEL and winners of 10 of their last 11 matches, and they beat Placer 3-0. But that's one of those, you look at the final score, it's 3-0. If you watch the game, it did not feel like a sweep. I mean, Nevada Union wins the first set 25-13, then they go out to an 11-0 lead to start set 2. And Placer responded with an 11-2 run to flip the momentum all of a sudden. And keep in mind, Nevada Union is a team with a lot of kids that play club, a lot of kids that play outside of high school. Placer is a team composed of, hey, here's a few kids whose main sport is football. Here's a few whose main sport is basketball. Here's a few whose main sport is soccer. And you're all just very athletic and have never seen a volleyball before. Go out at it. And so, playing a team like that, 25-22, I mean, obviously the athleticism's up there, but volleyball IQ is a huge part of that sport. So to go on that 11-2 run, I mean, that was huge. And I asked the coach about that. Carly Seifert-Smith, she said, once you get some momentum and you can flip that switch, all of a sudden you can keep pushing with it. And I think it really helped. It started with actually the bench. Placer's bench would celebrate. It was 11-0. They get their first point. Placer's bench celebrates like some dude just like posterized someone in a huge game. And then, at first everyone's kind of having a laugh about like, yeah, let's have fun. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, hold on, they're winning. It's 11-5 now. It's 11-7 now. And then all of a sudden it's like, it's, we're looking at it. I'm like, it's 13-11 and Placer's neck and neck with them the whole way. So, it was impressive to see Sam Hurley, Dom Laidlaw, Jaden Suggs, and Tristan Baker were really huge for the Hillmen in that. NU ends up taking set 2, 25-22, and then set 3 was 25-21 Nevada Union. Placer was actually leading most of the 3rd set, and then NU was able to tie it late at like 19-19, I think. They go neck and neck, and then NU ends with a 4-0 run to win the match. But, it was one of those, I think, like, it's hard to say there's moral victories, especially when you get into league play and Placer's sitting at 0-3. So, it's like, yes, there's moral victories, but they got to start translating to some real wins. But the message was kind of like, look, we just played that team. That team's probably one of the best teams we've seen all year, if not the best team we've seen all year. and we just played the best game we played all year. So I think Placer, you can start to see the wheels turning and it clicking a little bit of like, you know what, we're not just super athletic and that's what we bring to the table. We have some skill. We can hang with some of these big boys. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Placer start rattling off a couple wins in there. They did dig themselves in the 0-3 hole in league play, but you know what? It's progress. It's something to build off of. And for a team with a lot of inexperience, that's kind of, all you can ask for out of that. So, big game for Placer. And that was actually Monday night. I'm sorry, I said Tuesday night. The only other one I wasn't there, but we'll call it. I was actually at A's opening night during this game, but I recorded it and I watched it after, and I wrote a story at about 2 a.m. Placer alum Kai Huntsberry led North Texas to the NIT championship. He was 7 of 18 from the field. He led all scorers with 21 points in the championship game. He played 38 minutes of the 40 minutes, and where he really made his mark was defensively. And he was tied with UAB scorer Jordan Walker, who also had 21. But Huntsberry was tasked with guarding him all night. And, it's one of those, it doesn't necessarily show in the box score because Walker had 21 points. But Huntsberry's defense really was something that made a difference in that game. He may have not gotten MVP of the tournament. He was on the all-tournament team, though. But he was absolutely the MVP of that championship game. I mean, he was huge on both ends of the floor for them. And, what's kind of cool with North Texas is they're the NIT champions. They barely missed that cut for the NCAA tournament, but the team that they finished second behind in Conference USA, well, they lost to UAB in the Conference USA semifinals, even though they'd beaten them twice in the year. Now they're 3-1 on them all year. And then, weird that you get a conference game in the NIT championship, but Florida Atlantic was in that conference too. North Texas lost to them by 4 points both times, and Florida Atlantic made a run to the Final Four. So kind of makes you wonder, when you win the NIT, you go into Stillwater and beat Oklahoma State on the road, where in the quarterfinals, and a lot of people felt Oklahoma State should have been in the tournament, and then you win the NIT, lose by a combined 8 points to a Final Four team. Makes you wonder, could North Texas have kind of made a run to maybe, the Sweet 16, something like that? I don't think they were a Final Four team, but they're a team that I absolutely could have seen, knocking off a big dog in the opening round or even making a Sweet 16 run.
Yeah, you basically took the words out of my mouth. Exactly what I was thinking before you said that is, I mean, it makes you really wonder, how I always joke around with my friends because the NIT is named the National Invite Tournament. I always joke that it's called the not in tournament because you basically didn't make the tournament. It's a consolation tournament. But I mean, the fact that, in reality, when you look at like the championship game, I think UAB or North Texas could have easily won a first round matchup. And it really makes you wonder how far North Texas would have made it. I mean, I caught some highlights of that game, and, I kind of was just looking at what potential matchups were, and I was like, man, they could have made the Sweet 16 easily, So, it's very exciting for sure. I mean, to still, win a national tournament in general when you're facing some of the best teams in the country. Oregon's in there. I mean, when you still win a tournament like that, then that's just huge. So huge congrats to Kai Huntsberry and huge congrats to that program.
Absolutely. And what's the old saying? I know I've said this because I'm a Florida State basketball fan. We've narrowly missed that tournament cutoff a few times, but I always say that, with the NIT, like that used to be the national championship before the NCAA tournament came around. So
yeah,
national championship for North Texas, people are asking. I mean, it's a great season for them, 31-7, the first 30-win season in program history, in large part with the help of Huntsberry. So great job by them. Aaron, let's go back over to you. Where were you at for the second half of your week?
Yeah, so before I get into that, I was just going to say one final thing. So now what we need is we need the true national champion. We need to have UConn versus North Texas.
I like that. That's like what soccer does, like the Euro Cup. The Euro champion plays the Champions League champion.
Yeah, exactly. But no, getting back into the high school stuff. So Thursday I went over to Lincoln Hills and took some photos and watched a few holes of Lincoln and West Park golf. The final score of that match, West Park 198, Lincoln 280. West Park's definitely one of the better teams in the area. I did cover a lot of boys golf this week, even though I wasn't at a lot of matches. Rockland's got a heck of a team. They have a player, Max Thomas, who's averaging under par for 9-hole matches. They have a player, Luke I believe it's Luke Price. I hope I have that right. He's got a full ride scholarship to go to University of Utah. Roseville's also playing really well. Wood Creek's undefeated in the CVC, so definitely some good boys golf in the area. The only loss that West Park has is 196 to 191 to Placer High, so they're 3-1 in league play. And then on Friday, it was a full softball day for me. So I caught actually about 5 or 6 of the 7 innings of the Roseville versus Pleasant Valley game, and the Tigers came away with the win. And then I watched Oakmont and Granite Bay. Granite Bay's Avery Sava, once again, I talked about her a lot last week on the show. She was my athlete of the week. She struck out 9 batters in 3.2 innings, so not 9 of 11 batters. I think I said last week she was 10 of 14 when she was my athlete of the week. So she's just killing it out there. Granite Bay got RBIs from Madison Bell and Kiana Laguerre, I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Oakmont struggled at the plate and were only able to muster 4 hits. So that's how that went. And then after grabbing some lunch, I went on over to Rockland High to watch an SFL rivalry between the Thunder and Whitney. Whitney got out to just an amazing start at the plate. So listen to this. This was the sequence that started the game for them offensively. Single, double, walk, a grand slam by Maya Flint over the left field fence, single 2-run rocket shot over the center field fence by Alyssa Flint, that's Maya's sister, single, double. That was how like the first, I think, 10 at-bats went. It was insane. So that was basically the game right there because they got off to a 7-0 start in the first inning. Wildcats went on to win 11-0 in 5 innings, and Hannah Duncan pitched a complete game, 10 strikeout, 1 hitter with only 4 base runners allowed. It was a good bounce back for them from their 3-2 loss against Del Oro. And hey, watch out for Whitney. I think they're a section title contender just like they are in baseball. They're going to be a team to watch definitely going forward. So that was how Friday went. And then I'll just get into yesterday since we're recording this on Tuesday. So yesterday, I covered baseball. I was actually announcing all 3 games of the first round of the El Camino Easter Classic at Lincoln High. The Zebras won both of their games, the first being 8-4 against Center High in the morning, and the second being 4-3 against Yuba City High in the afternoon. Both games came down to pitching as Xavier Maldonado pitched 4 innings against the Cougars. He actually pitched a no-hitter in those 4 innings, but he did allow 1 run with, I believe there was an error and a couple of walks. And then in the second game, sophomore Jackson Cook helped close out the game against the Honkers with 3 strikeouts in 3 innings and only allowing 1 run. Cool story about him. He actually got bumped up to the varsity team in the playoffs last year, and he pitched 3 scoreless innings, I think only allowing 1 hit in their win over El Capitan in the first round. So he's back and he's playing really well. I think he had a couple of hits out there yesterday. Speaking of hits, Maldonado went 3 for 6 with 3 RBIs. Jake Redding performed well at 2 for 5 with 2 runs and an RBI. And then Luke Allen, who I mentioned last week on the show as well, he had 2 RBIs in the game or in both games and was 4 for 6. So the Zebras are now going to face Dublin High tonight, with the winner advancing to the title game on Wednesday at Folsom Lake College. The Zebras beat Yuba City High in the tournament final last season, so now they're 2-0 2 years in a row.
All right, I like it. Yeah, like you said with Whitney, they're definitely a title contender. They're a team that can be scary, and I think the Flint family went home from that game pretty happy.
Well, as we'll get into, there's more about Maya in a moment, but we'll get into that in a moment.
Definitely. Matt, let's go over to you. Where were you at? What'd you see in the second half of your week?
Well, Friday, I didn't start, but Friday I went to Oak Ridge in the early afternoon for a game 1 of 2 against Rockland. Oak Ridge baseball, and Oak Ridge opened Monday with a 9-0 win over Rockland, and on Friday's doubleheader they beat the Thunder 15-2 in game 1. And then I took off to go see Folsom, but they did win game 2 as well, 6-2 to earn the 2-game sweep, and then they got the series 3-0. They got good pitching from their second and third starters, Ethan Nepo and Ryan Spiro, and home runs to Anthony Del Pizzo and Carson Nichols, each in game 2 and game 3. So just a solid 3-game sweep for the Trojans over Rockland. And then went to Folsom and caught their 3rd game against Del Oro, having beaten Del Oro Monday 6-0. They played them again Friday early afternoon, 1 o'clock, lost 5-0. So there's the game that Del Oro's coach was talking about. Head coach, hey, we're gonna win some games because we're gonna beat some teams in the second and third games this season. So anyway, so it's the game's series tied 1-1, 4 o'clock game for the nightcap, and Coach Brian Castile wasn't sure what he was going to get out of his team. He didn't say anything to them about winning the series. He just wanted to see how they approach the game themselves. And Folsom came out and won 8-0, and took the series and took the game. And he was happy with that because he said, like, hey, I'm going to let them figure it out. To see how bad they want it. And they came out and they played a great game and they won. Lucas Williams and Jacob Noel pitched. Williams threw 4 innings, allowed 3 hits, struck out 3. Noel pitched 3 innings, allowed 2 hits, struck out 2. Then the top of the order, Colin Callahan had a big day. 2 doubles, 2 RBIs. And they got some. I'm trying to think here. Let's see. They had 3 runs in the second inning. Callahan and Moran walked to start the second scoring rally, and then both runners scored on a double by Gallagher. This one landed just beyond the first base back, so it was right-handed hitter, and he could run forever after that. And then Folsom's 2 other runs came on an RBI hit by Elmore and a throwing error on Del Oro. So anyway, long story short, Folsom got that series too. Friday morning, I started off with Vista Softball, who was in the Stephanie Ledoux tournament over there in Roseville. And Vista ended up winning the whole thing. They start off an 8-0 win against Reno. And then Friday afternoon, they beat Oakmont 4-0. And then Saturday afternoon, they beat Granite Bay 3-2, Casa Roble 12-4. And then the championship game beat Pleasant Grove 2-0. The wins over Granite Bay and Pleasant Grove were the standout wins because both teams are 9-3 on the season. The other teams aren't nearly as good. So they had 2 big wins in the tournament. And those games are so exciting, and they're so the margin of victory is so narrow. It amazes me how these games come down to like just 1 or 2 hits, and then if you get them, you win. If you don't, you don't. The title game against Pleasant Grove, Vista had both their runs in the first inning. Leadoff hitter Olivia Manchester laid down a bunt, reached second on a throwing error, and then Charlize Kai doubled her in for the first run, and then Kai later came in to score a single by Michaela Menser, putting the Eagles up 2-0. That's how the game ended, 2-0. Olivia Manchester, starting pitcher, she struck out 8, scattered 6 hits. I mean, they had runners on base almost every inning, 6 hits, but she just was tough when they needed. She needed to be tough and clutch when she needed to be clutch, and she shut them out. 2 games earlier against Granite Bay, which had they lost that game, Granite Bay could have been in the finals. Vista jumped out to a 1-0 lead in the second inning. Riley Dossie led off with a double, moved to third in the bunt, and scored on a clutch 2-out single by Lauren Aubrey, coming against Avery Seva, who Aaron says is one of the best pitchers in the league or in the area. The Grizzlies answered back in the bottom of the second with a 2-run double by Kate Vincent, which put the Grizzlies up 2-1. So now they're back on top. And it was Eagles' turn, and they came out in the 4th inning and took the lead for good. Peyton Huber on third, Allie Morrison on second, and Olivia Manchester, leadoff hitter, pitcher, single to drive in both runs to give the Eagles a 3-2 win and lead. So, great performance by the Eagles. They're 11-0 in the season, and if you didn't think they were serious about winning the Division III section title 2 years in a row, note to yourself, they are serious and they can do it. Will they? We'll see, but they can do it. Saturday night, I was at a FC Folsom semi-pro soccer game in Folsom. This team, FC Folsom, is a semi-pro team. They play in the United Premier Soccer League. I don't know much about this league, but apparently it's got teams all over the country. This is FC Folsom's first year in the league, owned by Dominic Pando. There's the 3rd game of the season. They're playing the defending league champs, Davis Legacy. And just to note on this game, FC Folsom had this game in the bag. They were up 1-0 with about 10 minutes to go, and literally they lost 2-1. But the game came down to the goalie. The goalie literally like 2 balls right through his hands in the goal. And the team was not happy. I mean, this would have been a big win for them. They were not happy with that loss, and they were not happy with their goaltender either. So, but anyway, they know they can play. They played them tough. They had the game in the bag. They just didn't finish. Players on this team range from one high school kid to a 28-year-old. Some players are looking to get to play professionally. Other players just looking to get to, community college or college. So they have different goals in mind. Games are free. Saturday, not everyone's a college basketball fan, but I would have much been rather home watching college basketball. But I had to go cover this game. There's about 100 people there, just in their third game ever. So I thought that was a pretty good turnout. And their coach Dominic said that they've had 2 home games and 1 road game, and they said he had better turnout in their 2 home games that he's seen other teams on the road. So he's liking their turnout, and their next game is this Saturday at 6:00 back at Livermore Park. So he's hoping to see more people there this week too.
All right, I like it. And Matt, kind of really circling back to that Do Folsom series. I was watching along on Game Changer at my game.
Yeah.
That's got to be the weirdest series I've seen. So it was a 2-1 series. Folsom wins. None of the games were particularly close, and the losing team was shut out in every single game in that series. I mean,
Yeah.
that goes to show how weird of a sport baseball is, that you can kill a team on Monday, get killed by them on Friday, and then proceed to kill them on Friday night. Like, what is that?
That is crazy. I really thought I don't know, Delor's pitching situation, but they're 2 pitchers that started. They had 1 pitcher that started, the third game, and he hit a couple batters in the first inning. They pulled him out in the second, and the second pitcher, he didn't do that great either. So I just wonder if they're really low on pitching or what. But if they had anyone who could
pitching, is what I understand.
What is it?
They're very inexperienced. I
Okay.
think they have like 1 kind of ace that they really like, but I think there's a lot of guys that were either bullpen arms or JV arms last year that they're kind of being like, okay, where are you finding yourself in this rotation?
Yeah, and the coach told me he likes his team. Like he's we're gonna go 5 or 6 deep pitching, so they're gonna figure some things out. They're gonna get some wins.
Yeah.
I definitely think they will. But on this night, it just went Folsom's way. But
yeah,
they lost Jaron Eckelboom, who I think was their ace last season, who was a senior, and he went on and played, I think, a couple games for the Potters and is now playing, I think, at Sierra College. Just one thing I want to say real quick about Vista softball is now, Ponderosa was also in the tournament. That would have been a really interesting game to watch too, as a Vista and Pondo matched up. And the way Vista's playing right now, I'd like to see them play Whitney. That'd be a really good game.
I wouldn't mind seeing that either. So, I mean, it's been a busy time, and I think we got a lot of contenders here. And speaking of a league with contenders, I was at Foothill Valley League doubleheader Friday night between Placer and Ponderosa. Pondo took game 1 of this series 2-0 on Monday. I asked Placer's coach what happened with it. There was a total of 4 hits in that game, 2 apiece. I asked him what happened. He goes, "We made great contact. Problem is we hit it right to Ponderosa's players." So it was one of those, baseball can be unlucky sometimes, and we'll get more to the lucky and unlucky of baseball as we go on in this. But, I kind of said going into this one, now that this game is a doubleheader played on Friday, you better hope you come out strong, because if you have a bad day today, you're staring at an 0-3 hole in FBL play in a league with 6 playoff contenders and only 4 spots. I mean, you really have to. I mean, you cannot dig yourself in an 0-3 hole. And game 1 of the doubleheader, Placer ends up going down 3-0 in the first inning. Pitcher Jake Graham struggled a little bit in that first inning. He ended up throwing 31 pitches in the inning. Credit to him, though, he actually really recovered well and pitched great for the rest of the outing. The Ponderosa, though, that Placer ended up coming back to a 3-2, and then there was a moment in this game. Placer had a runner on third runners on the corners with 1 out, and Ponderosa turns a double play. If the double play isn't turned, it would have scored the run from third for Placer. Now they would have still lost this game 4-3 instead of 4-2, but from where I was standing, and I think I had a better view than the umpire, Placer's runner was safe by like almost a full second. And it was that typical high school thing you see of they turned a double play, so they're called out at first no matter what. And it's like, but he was safe. I get maybe giving them the benefit in the bang bang play, but it's like that wasn't a bang bang play. He was safe. So, kind of a funny thing I've noticed, I'm sure you guys have noticed, it's a thing in high school where if you turn a double play and it's even remotely close, the runner will be called out no matter what. But the real story of this game was not that actually. It was Ponderosa pitcher Ricky Larson. He hurled a complete game, striking out 5, but he hit his spots really well and pitched to contact and really trusted his defense behind him. He threw 63 strikes on 91 pitches, so he was very efficient, especially for a high school arm. But Placer ended up responding really well because now you're in an 0-2 hole in FVL play, and they ended up winning game number 2 of the doubleheader 4-3 over Pondo. So they used big 4th and 5th innings for that, 2 runs in each inning. I asked Placer's coach Dave Thompson about the win. He said we just needed to get in the win column. We haven't really gotten to play a lot of games or get live at bats or really have any continuity. So it's like we needed a little bit of, to kind of shake some of those cobwebs off. And unfortunately, it had to happen in a league game. But if you look across the FEL, every single series went 2-1. So through the first series of league play, you're either 2-1 and 1-2. And if you look at the results, this could be a league where I think everyone goes either 8-7 or 7-8. I would not be shocked to see that. That's how evenly matched this team is. And there are 6 not only playoff contenders, I would say 6 section championship contenders in this league, and 2 of them are going to be eliminated before playoffs even start, which says something to the depth of this league. But it's going to be a wild ride for this league. In game number 2 for Placer, it was Cam Staten that got the win. He struck out 13 in 5 innings. He surrendered 3 runs, but they were all unearned actually. And then Hayden Bailey pitched 2 innings in relief, and he earned the save. It was his first time pitching under the lights at James Field. He struck out 5 of the 7 batters he faced. So, hey, a big win for them. Good job for Placer. And then they started the Fresno Easter Classic yesterday by beating Hoover 7-1. No idea if Hoover is a good baseball team, but 7-1 is a good baseball score if your team's on the right end of it. So, good job to them getting a win down there in Fresno. He said hopefully they're going to get a lot more at bats and find more of a routine so they can really hit the ground running when they get back. And then Saturday I woke up bright and early and was back at the same park I was at for Friday night. I was there for Auburn Little League's opening ceremonies. Watched that, watch the parade, the flyover, first pitch, everything fun about Little League baseball. And then I zipped down. I missed the first inning of this, but I caught the rest of 12 Bridges and Bear River baseball. 12 Bridges won the first game of this series 1-0 on Thursday behind a great pitching performance from Caden Nichols, freshman from Bear River, who's actually done some time with some of the USA baseball development camps. So really impressive player there. Freshman, that's an ace on a team on varsity. And I've been told, I haven't gotten to see him throw yet. I'm hoping to see him throw next week. I've been told that he's the ace on this team and pitching isn't even what he's best at. So, he's an incredible player to watch. 12 Bridges really came in. They were up 2-0 when I got there. They scored 2 off an 2 RBI single from James Romanov. And then the Rhinos blew the game wide open with a 5-run third inning to make it 7-0. They had one more in the 5th. It's 8-0. And it's looking like it's going to be run ruled. And I was leaving town right after this game. So I was looking at my clock going, you know what? It's like 1 o'clock. I didn't think I'd be hitting the road till 3. I'm going to be on the road by 1:30. And Bear River said, not so fast, Jordan. Okay. Haley's not done packing yet, something like that. Because Bear River decided to go all of a sudden load the bases. And they end up scoring 4 in, I believe it was the bottom of the 5th. And they had the bases loaded with nobody out when 12 Bridges pulled their starter. And I'll say this, Diego Castro pitched a great game. He just had 1 inning that really got away from him, but he blanked the Bruins in 4 of his 5 innings of work. And then, so it was the 6th inning that Bear River got going. And then, Kellen Collier made his first appearance of the season. He was a transfer for 12 Bridges. They were hoping they didn't have to use him in that game, but they really needed someone to come in and preserve that lead, because I truly think the way that inning was going, Bear River might have tied or even taken the lead if they didn't make a pitching change. And Collier was just dominant. He made quick work of the Bruins, kept them off the board for the rest of the inning, which is not easy coming in as a reliever with the bases loaded and nobody out. And to shut them out from that, is impressive. And then, we made quick work in the seventh to secure the win, earning the save. Or, yeah, I think that'd be a save because that's definitely more than one inning of work, even though it wasn't the 3-run requirement. But yeah, big win for 12 Bridges. I asked the coach or a Bear River kind of about the series split, and he said, we're 2-2 in the PVL, and we're within striking distance of a playoff spot because, like, in this league, Sutter and Colfax have kind of shown to be the top dogs in this league, and they split on Friday as well. But he's like, it's kind of wide open after that. They split with Marysville, now splitting with 12 Bridges. When you have an ace like Nichols, who's I don't think has given up a run yet this year, he's like, we're going in almost knowing we can split with anyone in this league because of how dominant Nichols is on the mound. And then, it's baseball. Anything can happen in game 2. So I think Bear River is going to be in a situation where they're going to find a playoff spot because of how dominant this pitcher is for them. But the biggest thing for Bear River why they lost this game was errors. They had 4 errors in the game. They gave up some free outs to 12 Bridges, and it's certain things like that where you can't put yourselves in a hole like that, especially against good teams. 12 Bridges may be young, but they're a very good team. And I asked 12 Bridges about the win, and Coach Bill Gibbs kind of said, we just need to be splitting against some of these good teams. Again, splits are huge in these series. And, especially in a league where you only play each team twice. But, they're in a position where they can make the playoffs for their first year as a varsity program. So big win for 12 Bridges there. And yeah, they got to give credit to them, tip the hat to them. And, there were some big performances. I got to say, though, for my biggest performance of the week, it actually came in a different state for a Del Oro wrestler. He's going to be my athlete of the week. Siraj Sidhu won the 15U division 108-pound weight class in the Reno World's Wrestling Tournament. He went 7-0 in the tournament. None of the matches were particularly close, and he actually said that this is a tournament where he's seen a few of the guys before. He was the top seed in his division, but he won the most outstanding wrestler for all 15U wrestlers across the weight classes. So Siraj Sidhu, you are my athlete of the week. Congratulations to you. Aaron, over to you. What were the best performances you saw this week?
Yeah, before I get into that, didn't Sidhu, if I'm not mistaken, as a freshman, finish 3rd in state in his weight class too?
He did. And what's funny is I asked him about it, and he said that, hey, winning this tournament was cool, but I want to win a state championship. He's like, in my opinion, the state championship is harder to win because I'm not just wrestling other 15-year-olds in the 108-pound class. I'm wrestling juniors and seniors and stuff. Like, I'm wrestling kids older than me. But hey, as a freshman, if you're doing that, then you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, getting into my athletes of the week for the Lincoln area, it's actually like you said, it's an alumna, or well, it's not an alumna. It was somebody who was playing outside of the high school. For me, it's a Lincoln alumnus, Zach Chamizo, and he's actually my first repeat athlete of the week because I chose him when he was with the Potters back in the summer. But now he's leading another baseball team to success. He hit a walk-off grand slam for Sierra College, an 8-6 win on Friday to keep their win streak alive over Cosumnes River. The Sierra has now currently won 6 games in a row, and they're 20-7. Yeah, like I said, he helped the Potters to the West Coast World Series back in August. So congrats to Chamizo on that. It was a rocket over the right field fence. I watched the video of it. He knew right when he hit that baby was gone, and he just flipped his bat, and the whole team immediately went to home plate and swarmed him, and it was just a really cool moment. He said he's never hit a walk off before too, so it was a cool experience. And then it's Grand Slam week here on the Jam because for South Placer I've got Whitney's Maya Flint. As I mentioned, she hit the Grand Slam in the first inning over Rockland. Really started the scoring barrage and the spark for the Wildcats. She's actually committed to the University of South Carolina, so she's going to be going and playing over there. So congrats to her. And yeah, like I said, I got 2 Grand Slams as my athletes of the week this week.
All right, I like it. And actually, that actually brings me to the unlucky thing of baseball. There was a few Placer and Ponderosa both had a hit that was a few feet away from being a 2 to 3 run homer, and it was one of those that if it's hit a month later, it's probably a home run for both of them. But they ended up both being flyouts because of it. So, like I said, baseball can be a cruel game, but that was a little off topic, my little tangent. Matt, over to you. What was some of the best performances you saw this week?
Hey, my athlete of the week is Kayla Voda, defender, Oak Ridge Lacrosse. Oak Ridge Lacrosse is 13-1 of the season. They only have 1 loss to San Ramon Valley. They're dominating every team they play. They just went on a trip to San Diego for spring break, first time ever. Played 3 games. 2 of them they won by shutout, like 14-0 and 13-0. And the third one they were in a 7-7 game and then scored the last 8 goals and won 15-7. So Kayla Voda is my athlete of the week. She's a returning first team All SFL defender. She's not just a captain, but a great leader on defense. She's a fantastic defender who understands and commits to sliding and help defense. Plays a great majority of minutes in every game and is great on transitioning the ball to offense. Has a very strong lacrosse IQ and a wonderful and generally good person, says Nathan Hendel, coach Oak Ridge Lacrosse. So, Kayla Voda, my athlete of the week.
All right, I like it. And hey, it's spring break, so not a ton of sports going on. I know I'm here on vacation. Actually, I'm in Avila Beach, but I'm keeping an eye on what Placer's doing out in Fresno and what Colfax and Del Oro baseball are doing over in San Diego. I know Colfax baseball got 2 suites to the San Diego Padres game last night, so pretty cool.
Oh.
Some nice team building. Not a bad spring break. Hey, you got to go play baseball, and then you got to go to a big league ballpark, and my favorite big league ballpark at that. I mean, pretty
And a walk-off home run doing some boots.
I know. I mean, what a not. I mean, Matt, I guess not a great night for you, but great time watching some baseball, and yeah.
Well,
oh wait, no, you were playing the Yankees last night. I was thinking Padres were playing.
I know, but my son's a Padre fan, so we caught the end of that game, and we saw the 2 home runs in the 9th inning. So he was excited about it. So
yeah, they got to get a good game. Padres are a fun team to get behind this year, but cool of them to go do. I know. I think Placer and Colfax won their first games yesterday. DL lost a close one, but those are always fun tournaments to keep an eye on. With it being spring break, not a ton of games going on. Aaron, do you have anything you're really covering this week, or is it an unwinding week for the Sports Jam?
A little bit unwinding. I mean, I'm gonna keep my eyes on the Boris Classic. I know that I think literally right now as we speak, Wood Creek and Granite Bay are playing, so that should be a really good game. That's over at Army Depot Fields in Sacramento. I know that Whitney's in that tournament. I think they're actually playing Archbishop Mitty later, which is a really good team from San Jose. So I'll keep my eyes on that, and if one of those teams happens to make it to the championship, I'll probably make my way down there and check that out. But I'll keep my eyes on that. I'm going to keep my eyes still on the El Camino Easter Classic, because like I said, Lincoln is playing tonight. If they win that, they're in the championship game, so I might go catch that on Wednesday if I have time. So I'm just gonna keep my eyes on a couple tournaments this week baseball wise, and then kind of enjoy that it's spring break and a little bit away from the craziness.
Yeah, definitely. Matt, how about you? Are you going to be able to catch anything this week, or are you in the same boat we are?
No. Today, before the bowling alley, I'm gonna have to leave early, but Folsom's playing Vista Del Lago in the semifinals of this El Camino Classic. So the winner goes to the championship game, loser goes to the semifinal game. So I'll catch as much of that as I can before I got to go, and then Wednesday, hey, I might be seeing Aaron there. So
right.
We might both be having a team.
So I'm gonna have to be on FaceTime, so I'm not missing out then, right? All right, though, that's gonna just about do it, I think, for this week's episode of the Sports Jam. Before we get going, does anyone have anything we want to add?
Go A's! Hopefully we can get some more wins this week.
All right, I like it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, hopefully I get one win before next week for the Phillies.
Yeah, Matt, this is my only olive branch I'll extend to you. It's a Philadelphia A's hat, so we're combining there, but. Hey, that's going to just about do it for this week's episode of Sports Jam. Thank you again for tuning in. Happy spring break. Happy Easter, everyone. And, thank you guys for tuning in. I've been Jordan.
I've been Aaron. Go Tiger at the Masters. I forgot to mention that.
Yes.
I was just going to say it's Masters week. It's one of my favorite weeks of the year. So, yes, looking forward to that.
I'm with you. I love the Masters. So, I'll be with you guys there. Go Tiger, too. All right. Have a good one, everyone. We will see you next time.